Good afternoon. It's the Asset Protector here, and I want to talk to you about something that could change your life forever: your career and your purpose. First off, I'd like to give a big shout out to the class of 2025. You did that and you did it big. But now that you have that diploma in your hand, you have that college degree in your hand, maybe you took up a trade, you have that trade certification in your hand. The real question is, you graduated, but are you free? I want to start by defining the word commencement. In short term, commencement simply means the ending of one thing and the beginning of something else. So you ended your studies now. You got your degree, you got your diploma, you walked across the stage and you've been applauded. Yes. Welcome to the ladder of life's prosperity or damnation. You get to decide now. Today, we're diving into how to find your passion, align it with your values, and set yourself up for a career and a life that you don't need a vacation from. I'm sure you've heard your parents say, "I hate going to work." Or you've heard someone say that they hate what they do for a living, the way that they make their money. You need to find your passion and your purpose. In other words, work that aligns with your values. And so let's start with passion. Your passion is what lights a fire inside of you. And your purpose is why the fire matters in the first place. When your work aligns with your values, it doesn't feel like a grind, it feels like fulfillment. For example, you need to ask yourself, do you love solving problems, creating something new, helping other people, or just winning? That might be your passion. Now, link that to your purpose, something that's bigger than you. We all seek transcendence, something that is bigger than ourselves, and we want to be a part of that. And once you find that transcendence, that's where fulfillment lives. So a way to get there is that you can write down 3 things or 5 things, the less the better. Write down 3 things that you enjoy doing. I mean, you really love doing things that you will do for free. I enjoy talking. I make these videos and I make them for free. I enjoy teaching people. I make these videos for free. I enjoy addressing crowds and helping people solve their problems. And then on the other side is I get paid for that. And that's the way you do it. And see, once you write these things down, and then you write down 3 causes or communities that you care about. For example, you might be a person who has had someone in your family that has been sick before, and that particular illness is something that you're passionate about. You may know someone in your classroom that has a relative, or they may be the person themselves that has something that's going on. Maybe they're in a wheelchair, and you want to do something towards the cause to help people who are handicapped. And so where they intersect, that is your sweet spot. That's your lane. You say, I'm bowling down the right lane. You're bowling down my lane. So what college did for you was that it gave you an education, or you earned your education, you earned your degree or your certification. You may have been in college for 2 years or 4 or maybe even more years, depending on your studies. Now let's build that life that you desire. Starting with career preparation. Build skills and stand out. You started it in college, but now you're going to build on that. So once you found your direction, it's time to prepare like a pro. Preparation is what separates dreamers from doers. You've seen people say, I'm a dreamer, or I want to, I'm gonna, I believe. You can believe and want to and gonna all you want to, but until you begin to put preparation, put action, and begin to prepare for that. Okay, nothing comes to sleepers, nothing comes to dreamers but sleep. You can't win a game that you didn't train for. If you're going to go out and you're going to participate in a job market, you want to be in a particular career, then you've already started your collegiate process. You graduated, you've learned, you got some education under your wing, and you got a general idea, a general hand of what it is that you're going to be doing. So now, picture this. You walk into a job interview, resume, tight. I mean tight. That resume looks good. And you are now speaking from clarity and not desperation. That confidence, see, that's the preparation. Prepare for the interview. Some actionable tips in building your resume is that you ought to customize it for every opportunity. Make sure it shows value and not just activity. In other words, I've done this job, I've done that job, I got this accolade, I've got this certification, but you need to now customize it so it fits each job. You may be looking for a job at a printing company. Make your resume toward a printing company. You may want to be a counselor. Make your resume towards being a counselor. You may want to be a coach. Make your resume so that you can be a coach and use those activities that you've learned. So don't just show activity. You want to be able to customize it so that you can bring value, Interviewing game. Like I said, you got your resume together and now you're going into the interview. So you want to go in with your game face on. In other words, from the time that you go in to the time that and shake hands with the people who are doing the interview, to the time that you walk out, you want to do what? You want to present yourself. So how do you do that? You're going to rehearse. You're going to ask questions to yourself, those questions that you think may be asked in an interview. And if you don't know, guess what? You can GPT it, or you can Google it, or you can talk to someone who is older, maybe a counselor, or maybe a teacher, maybe a minister, maybe your parents. Just do the doggone research and have smart questions for your interview team too. Don't just answer their questions, but when you ask them questions, it shows what? You can think, that you have a brain. Your professional growth. In other words, get out and network up. What I mean by that is attending industry events. Read, stay evolved, and stay involved. And that is how you, my friend, can turn your diploma into dollars. That is how you, my friend, can turn your passion into prosperity. Finding your passion and preparing for your future, it ain't a one-time thing. It's not a one and done. It's a journey. And it's going to be a journey that's going to be a perpetual journey through the rest of your life. There'll be detours that you have to take. But if you stay the course, stay hungry, stay focused, and stay teachable. In other words, don't know everything. And just because you know something, or you know one thing or a few things that someone is mentioning, you don't have to say, I already know that. Because if you listen long enough and you silence that great big flappy tongue of yours, you might just learn something new and you'll grow into everything that you were meant to be. In other words, you have 2 ears and only 1 tongue. So be quick to listen and slow to speak, and you'll learn what the other person is talking about or thinking about. You'll learn a lot about your friends and what people's intentions are with you before you even become their friends. How? You learn that through listening. Intentively and intuitively listening to what they're saying, because sometimes people are speaking between the lines. And if you learn to read between the lines, then that's half your battle already. So we don't just get money, we get understanding, and then we get free. And to help you do that, you need to visit my website, UnitedProspera.com. Again, UnitedProspera.com. cliché.com is in the link. Just click on it. It will carry you right to my website. And that way you can explore real strategies together with me, because you're going to book a free consultation and you're going to start building the life that you've been dreaming about. So this is the Asset Protector reminding you that knowing the game, it ain't enough. This is how you stop surviving and start securing not just the bag, but everything. Now go and conquer your destiny. I wish you prosperity and peace in all of your endeavors. And once again, to the class of 2025, I salute you. Congratulations. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.